Welcome to the Dental Innovation Lab, where we talk about the latest innovations really in all of technology in the world. And today we have our guest, Mr. John Gabriel, came all the way from Austin, Texas. Really one of the brightest young individuals that I've had the chance to get to know these past couple of years, with an invention and a really big discovery that we're going to be talking about today. So welcome to the lab.
Thank you so much, Shervin. Sorry, Dr. Shervin.
No, you can call me Shervin. So tell me about your story. Like, what brought you here? How did someone in the tech industry, Austin, what brought you into dentistry?
It's actually a funny story. I never in a million years would have thought that I was going to be in the dental industry, let alone trying to invent the world's first smart night guard for bruxism. My story started in the University of Texas at Austin, where I was majoring in electrical and computer engineering. One day during my finals week, I actually woke up to a cracked tooth because apparently, according to the dentist, I had been grinding my teeth incessantly at night. And so after being told that the solution to this problem was I call it a plastic chew toy that costs between $600 to $800 on average, I realized that something was wrong. Being the person I was not happy with I had a cracked tooth in my mouth, it was a hole, and the solution was a very expensive $800 plastic night guard. I dove into the industry and realized that although humans have been trying to find better solutions for this problem, it just wasn't possible given the level of technology at each interval of attempts by our predecessors. While I was doing this research, I realized that it was actually time. The technology was here, just that no one else had discovered it. But I thought, I was a sophomore at the time. I didn't think I was going to be able to do it. So I waited a couple years, but come around my senior year, I realized that still nothing had come out. This is around the time COVID hit. I knew I had to do something about it, given that I had continuously still grinding my teeth at night. My night guards were getting cracked still.
Wow.
And, it was a problem for me that I knew if I didn't do anything about it, I would regret it, given that I had the opportunity to create a better solution, had the drive and determination, as well as the fervor to actually make it happen. And so that's how I got started in this industry.
So you created the world's first smart night guard, and it has sensors in it that can. What do these sensors do? What are we able to detect, and why is it so significant?
Yeah, so it contains miniaturized biosensors, such as photoplethysmography (PPG), which is a sensor that collects heart rate variability, respiratory rate, blood oxygen. It also contains a pressure sensor that detects, bruxism episodes of duration, as well as it contains an accelerometer that detects motion, and also another temperature sensor. And these sensors combined, we were able to successfully miniaturize them all in a form factor that is comfortable enough to be fit into these, dental appliances that nobody already likes to wear anyways, because it's in your mouth, right?
Yeah.
And so we were able to successfully miniaturize them, embed them to be able to actually successfully create a wearable that can be commercializable.
Yeah. And then how are people supposed to read this after, when they wake up in the middle, in the morning, what are they looking at?
Yeah, so it's similar to an Apple Watch or Ring or Fitbit. It comes with a mobile application that displays all of the biomarkers that we collected overnight, as well as insights that we've collected, not just over the past night, but also over the weeks or months that you've been wearing it.
And people that want to follow and see this, what website would they go on to check this out?
Yeah, so we also have a web application the mobile application is paired to,
Okay.
that you can follow on our website.
Got it. And what's the website?
It's www.app.bytesense.ai.
Got it. Amazing. So your story brings you from you personally having an issue. You had a tooth problem, you got an implant, and then your implant failed.
Exactly.
And you're like, why did my implant fail? The dentist is like, I don't know. And you're like, wait, what do you mean you don't know? You're like, okay, if you don't know why my implant failed, and someone's got to know, I got to find out. So you're kind of like this investigator. How did you put it two and two together? And then who's your team? How did you put all this together while you were in school?
Yeah, so, that was you're taking me all the way back there. It was very frustrating, actually, because the dentist was having all these hypotheses, but nothing to really test it. And, being the person I was and the type of person I am, I take matters into my own hands, especially after not only having a cracked tooth in my mouth and had a hole, but after having an implant that failed. I knew something had to be done about my problem, or else no one else would do it for me. So yeah, in terms of your question to me, like how did I do it? It was just me by myself on Google, just on a rabbit hole of research. I had skills on my ability to critically think about problems and figure out solutions for them.
Yeah.
Given my background in computer engineering. And so through the research that I've done, I was able to figure out that, bruxism actually was able to have these like miniature vibrations that caused it to loosen, given the osseointegration process was not finalized. It was still soft bone, right?
Yeah.
That caused it to, get loose, get the bacteria infiltrated, and the implant to be infected.
So as of today, do we know what bruxism is and exactly why? And do we have the data? Like, where are we right now as far as the history and along the timeline in this new, really exciting, rapidly evolving field? Yeah,
so bruxism is multi-etiological, which means it has many causes, as you should probably, you know this, but audience may not. A lot of people think that bruxism is due to like maybe one cause. Maybe it's dental or occlusion or malocclusion. However, the research shows us that it's actually a variety of causes. It could be multifactorial from sleep apnea and a combination of trauma, potentially stress, acute stress or chronic stress. PTSD is a known cause of it, as well as alcohol, tobacco use, lifestyle triggers. The list goes on. And we actually don't know to each person why somebody grinds, right? Some people grind for a couple of days and never grind again. But most people are intermittent grinders, right? They grind for periods at a time in their life that they don't even know they're grinding for. While some people are chronic, they'll grind for the rest of their life. The data that we have so far, we're still collecting a lot of it, showcases that it's very complex in each person. It's not just like a one-size-fits-all. So you have to personalize and understand, like, for each person why they're actually doing it. And so we hope with our technology that we can collect data at scale to be able to understand and pinpoint, for each person, why is someone grinding their teeth in particular.
Yeah. So could you walk us through how the data is collected?
Sure. Yeah, so it's like a normal night guard that you wear at night. You just pop it in, and you go to sleep. And the rest, the technology does the rest. It collects data continuously at night. And at the end of the night, you're able to acquire the data through the cloud, through your phone or the web application.
And so then there's an app in the morning, you wake up and you go through and you could see, what are you looking at in this? What parameters are you looking at?
Yeah, so there's like sleep stages, right? REM sleep, non-REM sleep. There's also, your average resting heart rate, your heart rate throughout the night, all sorts of biomarker data.
How accurate is it?
So right now, based on our studies that we've conducted with the Polar, which is the gold standard in research, it's pretty accurate. But we're doing more and more studies to make sure that it's accurate at scale.
Amazing. This is huge. I mean, we've really never had to this day consistent, ongoing data from individual people. They may go to a sleep center, wear something at nighttime one day, come back. but that's about it, right? This is going to be, you can track someone for a month and be able to see, on Tuesdays is when they grind, because maybe Wednesday morning they have their trainer at 6 a.m. They're paranoid. Or Sunday night, they're worried about, Monday morning, they had a good weekend and they don't want to go back to work. Or in the winter, when their vitamin D levels are low, which has been linked to bruxism, and on, right? Now, how do we link these lifestyle factors or environmental factors or psychological factors? How do we link that to their sleep? Is there a way in the app that you're able to input this information?
Yes. So, we're going to have a, continuous, ability to understand and ask for data from the patient, either every day if they don't mind. Maybe if we notice a specific correlation of data that we've been gathering over weeks, we may ask them, like, for example, on a Friday, we notice that Friday night, Saturday night, they're always grinding more incessantly as compared to the weekdays. And we saw that happen for maybe 2-3 weeks at a time, the first 2-3 weeks of a month. And so at that point, we'll ask them, like, hey, are you drinking on Friday, Saturday?
Yeah.
And they may say yes or no. Then we get more data.
Got it.
We start to build.
So
more
what are you
more.
seeing? Like when you wear yours, what do you see? If you're able to tell us.
Yeah. So for me,
anything interesting?
In periods of like high stress, you can see my bruxism, like more prevalent than
so
not.
The frequency is more.
Yes.
How about the intensity in the force?
Yeah, it's both actually. Yeah, that's what I've seen from my data.
And when do you see it? During REM sleep mainly, or throughout the night, or early in the morning? When as far as the time, is there a specific time that you did it more, or that people do it more, or is it random?
Yeah. So right now we have two separate products. We have one which is pressured by itself, and one with the PPG and the accelerometer. All of our competitors are working on. It's funny, I don't think they have PPG in terms of bruxism competitors. Yeah. Everybody's working on biofeedback, which in my opinion is too much, too quick.
Yeah. So what is biofeedback for the audience that doesn't know? What does that mean?
Yeah. So the way that I would define biofeedback is, you can think of Pavlov's dog bell experiment, where Pavlov rang a bell and trained the dog to salivate on a stimulus.
Yeah.
Right. And so we want to utilize that mechanism for bruxism, where the hypothesis is if we can train the brain to react to a vibration, haptic vibration, when they're grinding, to relax, that we could somehow, hopefully, this actually been proven in limited studies in Germany, that they will relax their jaw and stop grinding. That's the underlying mechanism behind that.
Got it. So, as an example, they'll wear something on their wrist, or maybe even the night guard itself will vibrate when they're grinding too much, and then it'll train them. It'll kind of wake them up, like a nudge them to get up, and then with time, they start to realize every time that they grind too much, they're waking up. Maybe the next time they won't want to wake up, so they won't grind. Is that the hypothesis?
Yeah. So we can go a little deeper into that. That's the overall gist, right? But we have to be careful with sleep, right? You don't want to be disturbing someone's natural sleep patterns and natural rhythm, and so that's why I made the comment earlier that it's, in my opinion, it's too fast. Like, you need more data before we can actually start to mess with people's sleep. As I've already discussed this with several sleep doctors, and while they are intrigued by the idea of biofeedback for bruxism, it is seen as the more dangerous side until we have more evidence that it can be done safely. Because once you start to disturb someone's sleep, you're actually going to be putting them at risk of a lot of factors that you're not seeing on the outside.
Yeah. And then what about sleep apnea devices? And what are the implications for that?
Yeah, so we're actually looking into sleep apnea devices and integrating these biosensors inside of them to make these devices more of an integrated health device. Now, the benefits and value propositions will depend on the stakeholders. If it's insurance companies, compliance, right? If it's doctors, maybe enhancing titration. For patients, it's, having a wearable technology inside your sleep appliance to understand sleep stages and your heart rate at night to determine risk factors. There's a lot of value for all the stakeholders involved.
Yeah. So this could be used as as a sleep study, for example, or it can't. It's not. I know it's not FDA approved for that or anything like that.
I can see that in the future, yes,
Yeah.
because we have the same capabilities as all of these other rings that have started to be indicated for sleep studies.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to go too far right now and say that we can, but I could see a future.
Yeah.
The very near future that can happen.
It's at the minimum, it's a screening tool.
Oh, 100%. Yes.
Yeah. Amazing. So you have this bruxism, occlusal night guard. We have this being incorporated into sleep apnea devices. What other oral appliances are in the pipeline that are being looked at of integrating these into?
Yeah, so we're looking at sports and also retainers at this point.
Mm-hmm. How would retainers work out? Like, why would they need sensors and retainers?
Yeah, so just to add more value to a retainer that they're already wearing at night, if they so choose for that to happen, and they want that capability. So it's just like a same thing as an Oura ring for your mouth.
Got it.
Yeah.
So they're wearing like a clear aligner, something to stabilize the teeth after they got.
Yes, exactly.
And you have a sensor in it that's giving you information on your breathing and your air and your heart rate and all that, correct?
Yes, exactly, yeah.
It makes sense.
It
makes sense. Why not? What you're wearing it anyways at night, why not get that information? And then how do you charge this? Where do you charge it?
Yeah, so we have a smart charger that's intuitively designed to be seamless. After you wake up at night, it just sits by either your bedstand or in your bathroom. It's waterproof. You just slide it in, and it'll do the rest.
So you have a case, put it in, and it just automatically charges.
Exactly.
I love it. Amazing. What about the you said this? You have sports night guards. I should say sports guards.
Yes.
Well, how does that work? And
so we could. The idea is we could enhance the already valuable proposition of having a sports mouth guard that you wear when you're playing sports to help optimize athlete performance and help prevent injuries.
So, for example, a coach can look at their players' like vitals real time and see who needs to be substituted out.
That's the idea, yes.
Right? That can happen in this new world.
Yeah.
Someone's about to pass out, someone's heart rate is too high. They know, okay, they're tired. Their heart rate has been too high for too long. Okay, this person might be ready to be substituted. That type of thing.
Exactly, yeah, that's the idea.
That's amazing. So right now they're just looking at their behavior. They're just looking at their, the way they run or how much they're sweating. But now they can have some real data.
Exactly.
So the world is getting very advanced. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like it. That's a good one because you could actually prevent injuries and issues. And as a team, you can get more efficient and bring someone who's fresh off the bench, put them in, and get someone who's tired out. And then when they're ready, you put them back in and switch them. Right?
That's the idea, exactly.
Amazing. And then is there any, type of, I know we hear the word AI everywhere. Is there any kind of AI associated with this?
Yeah, so we're actually utilizing AI for a variety of things. At the most basic level, we could just utilize it for correlation, identifying correlations in the data. And maybe in the future, we could utilize it for maybe root cause analysis, stuff like that.
Yeah. I see a lot of data that could be published and a lot of good correlations will be found from this.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And do you have anyone on your team that's going to be doing that, working on the publications and analyzing that?
Yeah, so, Dr. Sarnab, our CTO, is, that's what he did most of his PhD. However, we're thinking about getting a team together, maybe Dr. Anir, perhaps on that side of things. We'll figure it out on the way to, publishing all the studies that we've conducted.
Yeah. You mentioned Dr. Sarnoff. I had the privilege of meeting him. Seems like a really, really bright guy. PhD in sensors.
Medical biosensors, yes.
He worked with Google.
He's also worked with several other medical tech startups.
Mm-hmm.
And he's very excited about, this invention because we succeeded where everyone else failed. Like literally, we can't believe it ourselves.
Yeah.
And if you look at all of the past history, like people have been trying this technology for quite some time. It's not easy, especially, given all the noise in the world, in my opinion.
Yeah, and you guys, I know, have patented a lot of this. How many patents have you guys filed for?
We filed over 20 patents at this point, and we're continuing to file more as we find more novel ways to implement our technology.
Amazing. I could see this definitely being a new thing. Now, one of the issues I see is we have a lot of these dentists, let's say they're in their 40s, they're in their 50s, they're out of dental school for, over 20 years maybe. They're not adapting into technology very easily. How are you going to be able to get them to, talk about this to their patient and give them the option to get a smart night guard versus a regular night guard?
Yeah, so that's actually a problem I wouldn't say a problem, challenge that we see. However, a lot of the dentists coming out of school, as well as the new age dentists, millennial dentists, as well as dentists yourself, that are more tech savvy, we believe we could focus on that market first, right? Because we don't have to go against the tide, so to speak.
And then who are the partners that you're looking for? What kind of people are you looking for to team up with?
In what regard exactly?
Labs, that kind of dentists, companies, just in the industry.
Yeah, so that's actually some aspect of the business strategy that we're looking at right now. Ultimately, at the end of the day, what we have is a blue ocean market. Effectively, we've created a new category market beyond the existing, which is, if you think about it, like an onion, right? The main layer right now is a night guard market. It's a traditional night guard, plastic night guard. We created a new category by expanding that and having it as a wrapper so to speak, right?
Yeah.
Like AI wrappers.
That's a good analogy,
in this way, a wrapper for the market.
Mm-hmm.
And we see a lot of companies coming out that we could partner with, especially, with something that you're brewing up with. These are partners that we're looking for that can see the vision, and not only see the vision, but are also working towards their own visions that we can one day have that juncture where we could collaborate.
Yeah.
Right. And so I wouldn't necessarily expand on which specific type of company we want to work with, but more of, there's always ways that we could create opportunities to collaborate with companies that see the vision.
I could see that. I could see a lot of people wanting to collaborate, labs. And then is this, something that is going to be a more of a consumer, or, who's your market? What kind of people are your, is your customer?
Yeah. So, there's a lot of companies that have failed to go direct to consumer. And so we don't want to make that mistake. We want to go first direct to dentist, B2B, and, put it in the hands of people that have been trained, clinically, to be able to not only diagnose bruxism, but also ensure that the proper treatment plan and monitoring post-treatment plan has been is implemented correctly, because people need help, right? Right now, the way that the industry is dentists are just giving night guards, and they can't really help the patient after the fact. With our device now, we're not only helping to build trust between the dentist and the patient,
Yeah.
but also giving them the ability, the dentist or the physicians, if they so choose, to actually help the patients beyond just a night guard.
Yeah. One of the things that I always ask a patient before I place an implant is, do they grind their teeth, or do they think they grind their teeth? So many times they look at me and they're like, I don't know, maybe, not to my knowledge. I think so. I used to. You guess that no one's like, yeah, not nobody, but there's a few people that are like, yeah, I grind, and they're like, but I see those too, and those people they already have night guards usually. So the fact that not too many people know that they do it, I think there's a market, just people just wanting to satisfy that curiosity of, do I grind? Now those people, they're gonna wear it for, let's say, a week, 2 weeks. Are they gonna wear it all the time? Like, right? There's a certain number of people that are just gonna try it, which is great. That just alone right there, that has value, and probably enough to justify the cost. Then you're gonna have another set that see during that time that they are, and that they like this information, because it's not just about grinding. They're finding out the quality of their sleep, how much movement during sleep, their REM sleep, if they're snoring, if their oxygen goes down. That relates to why they wake up so tired. Maybe it's because of their occlusion. Maybe their tongue is too big. Maybe they need to lose weight. Maybe, it's they need a CT scan to see the size of their airway. They may need a surgery, orthodontic surgery, to open up the jaw a little bit more. Right? All of those things I just said, you don't know whether you need it unless you get tested and wear this and try it. So there's a lot of value, right? And sleep is the number one most important thing in the world. Period.
Yeah.
If you don't have good sleep, it trumps anything with diet, with lifestyle, other things. So you got to get your sleep right, number one, to get your certain number of hours. There's so much science that's going into sleep, that trying to, give little tricks. Everyone has their own. Someone's like, what, ever since I stopped eating so late, I could fall asleep more. Or someone's like, what, it needs to be a little bit colder. So now ever since, I'm a little colder, I could sleep better. I don't know, for me it's the opposite, but, or warmth. Some people actually need to wear socks and they sleep better. Someone can't have any light in their room and it needs to be completely blacked out. Someone else, their alarm clock, it's like this red bright thing, and they're staring at it, and it kind of goes, and they can,
Yeah.
and it's like 2 feet away from their eye. Maybe that's their problem. Maybe it's a little bit of noise. Maybe it's they say that you shouldn't be sleeping. If you want the best sleep, the Brian Johnson from Blueprint, he says the best sleep is alone sleep, not sleeping in the same bed as your partner. So he doesn't sleep with anyone in the same bed.
Interesting.
Isn't that interesting? I hope that doesn't get so popular, because I think that's a great thing to be able to sleep next to your partner.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I can see that with my wife, myself. There's movement in the bed.
Yeah, exactly.
And it could wake up the other person, and if that wakes you up, that throws maybe off your REM sleep that you were in. Then that affects you the next morning.
Exactly.
Then now you're eating more unhealthy. Your body craves more sugar. Maybe that, so it's this whole holistic point, but it really starts with the sleep. So I love this product for that reason, that it is in a sector where it's the most important to our life. And for the first time in the history of the world, we're going to have this data and understanding and information that we never had before. And God knows what kind of information we're going to find out from this. This is going to be the beginning of a lot of good news and information for sleep.
That's exactly right. I'm very excited about it. And, in the middle of the lab or creation of this, we're what we're talking about right now is what we envisioned a long time ago. And, sitting here today, I believe it's the 30th or 31st of January,
Yeah.
2025. And I'm still in disbelief that we were actually able to do this. Like, the PPG itself was something that several of our predecessors in the sleep apnea space have tried, but also failed to do.
What does PPG stand for again?
Photoplethysmography.
Which means?
Effectively, it's a technique where it's reading blood vessels through a special light.
Mm-hmm.
It's some voodoo magic.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, they failed to do this.
Yeah.
And I don't want to discuss who specifically
Yeah.
failed and how much money they spent on it.
Yeah.
But I'm still in disbelief, still humbled that we were able to do this. And there's a great opportunity in the future for just making this a massive success.
Yeah.
While we do have the technology, there still is a lot of execution involved in making sure that this technology gets into the right hands with the right companies, partnerships, right, into the right space so that we could have it more accessible to the masses. Because I feel everybody would really greatly benefit from this technology.
And what motivates you, to get up every day and do this? What motivates you?
What motivates me is, solving really tough challenges such as this one, right? Not every day, or in my opinion, not everyone in their life is going to have the opportunity to be able to be in a position to actually make a difference for a lot of people, to the masses. And somehow I'm actually in a position to do so. And so I sometimes if I get really, tired and I'm stressed, I just think I have a great opportunity that a lot of people would never have.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Right. So
You've kind of been entrusted and chosen as one of the people that can bring one of the most amazing discoveries and technologies in smart sensors in oral appliances and take it to the masses.
Yeah.
Whether it's different countries, different, I have people that always tell me, oh, my ear hurts, or I get headaches, or I get migraines, snoring. Like, there's lots of issues and symptoms and clinical symptoms that people have that this is going to be part of the solution now. So I'm excited for that. And I commend you on acting. Really, you acted on a situation that happened to you and turned it into your problem into finding a solution, and not only a solution for yourself and to satisfy your own curiosity, but a solution for humanity. And then taking that to sports, and then taking it into the different avenues where it could be even more helpful and useful. So, where are you guys out right now? When are you launching this product? And so when is that all happening?
Yeah, so right now all the infrastructures that we built, our base infrastructures, are being upgraded and optimized so that when we launch, we can meet the demand that we're anticipating for our product. So right now, a lot of our inventories are coming in sporadically. The whole trade war in China is coming in. So there's a lot of factors and variables, but we're looking at summer of 2025 for the launch of the company. If everything goes right, all of the stars align.
So it's right around the corner.
Very much, yes.
Yeah. So you're going to some trade shows and meetings and getting the word out, I'm sure. Building a bigger facility, labs, this, that, meeting people. It's probably and when you meet people, what do they say?
Everybody is very surprised that we were actually able to do this and actually create a wearable technology besides just from Oura Ring or Fitbit. We brought it into the mouth. So everybody's always intrigued, like, wait, like an Apple Watch in your mouth, like that's interesting, and it piques people's curiosity, especially now that it's in a dental device that they get from their dentist, right? It makes that aspect of dentistry cooler.
Yeah.
Right. Instead of getting a piece of plastic, you're getting a piece of technology from the dentist.
Yeah.
So
That's true. And it's what is a wearable? What's the definition of a wearable?
that's a good one. I never thought about
Yeah,
that.
well-
You know, the way I define the wearable is, you know, it's an everyday device that is able to acquire biomarker data from the human body.
And are there any misconceptions about that?
All the time.
Like what?
Yeah, people think that, well, in terms of our device,
Yeah.
you know, people think that we're trying to cure bruxism.
Yes. Yeah, I can see
Yes.
that.
It's,
But you're not.
Well, that's the hopefully in the
Yeah,
future we
yeah.
can. But the first step is to acquire the objective data to
Yeah.
actually study,
Yeah.
you know, bruxism itself and people.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's a wild west out there.
Yeah.
This has never been done in the history
Yeah.
of mankind in a continuous form.
Yeah.
So, people think we're going to cure it. That's in the pipeline. For now, let's acquire the objective data.
Yeah.
Let's give it to the scientists. Let's let them study the data, create some protocols and, you know, methodologies for like how to address it.
Right.
Mitigate
So we'll
it,
see
manage
trends.
it.
We're gonna
Yes.
see, and it's gonna be linked to, you know, the people are gonna have to get their blood tested, right? And some of them,
Sure.
in order to find out what's going on in their body.
Yeah.
Using the night guard, getting maybe a blood test throughout, and kind of monitoring and seeing if there's any correlations, right?
Exactly.
Because this is not just you know, we're not just talking about bruxism. We're talking about the brain.
Exactly.
We're talking about
The mouth-body connection.
Mouth-body connection,
Yeah.
psychological factors. Very few things in the body are you could just isolate them and they're isolated. There's a lot of things that affect that one point,
Confounding variables, exactly.
and we don't exactly know how to control that if we don't know the data. And so that's exciting. I can't wait to look at the data and have some AI analyze it and then tell us a breakthrough that, you know, don't do this or take this supplement or do this, or your magnesium is low, or you need chondroitin sulfate, and you know, whatever it is.
Exactly.
That could be the one thing. The person who has the most of this, and you need to have X amount and be above that threshold, and you're going to be fine.
Exactly.
You know,
If they eat late at night, you know, spikes of blood sugar or whatever
Yeah.
it is, all these things we're going to start to actually understand and personalize like people's, like not only just like bruxism management, but overall health in general.
yeah.
It's all connected.
Yeah. So yeah, you probably need a good data scientist. Maybe Dr. Sarnoff can do it, or you know, you outsource
Hire a
it.
team,
Yeah, outsource it to a team and say, look, here's this data, and you're gonna have it all on right, since it's on an app on their end. You're gonna have all of that data. That really the morning when they wake up, you guys have it too.
Exactly.
Now, could their dentist have that data?
Yes. We're looking into that right now. We believe that we should give dentists the ability to look at their patients' data through a web application.
Yeah. So one of the things I foresee is really two things that come to my mind. One is before a dentist does a full mouth veneer on a case where they're suspecting possible grinding or severe grinding, is to try one of these, use it as a detection to see the severity, the strength. Does it let people know where they're grinding? Like is it on their canine or which teeth? Or is it just left side, right side, back, front? Like, will we know if they're clenchers versus side to side gnawing? Like what kind of data are we going to get?
Yeah, so for the pressure sensors, we have the capabilities to have two sensors on the posterior molar region, so we can detect lateral grinding as well as protrusive grinding.
Amazing.
And if they're, you know, clenching.
and the force.
Yes.
That's amazing. Wow.
Right now we have relative force,
yeah.
but we will have capabilities to do calibration and
Awesome.
You know,
I love that.
force.
I love that. So now so that was the first thing that we can see is, as a dentist, being able to know if they're grinding, how much they're grinding, and maybe they're not a candidate for that procedure, or Maybe it's like, hey, you know, you're a higher risk. Your veneers may fall. There's a chance that they may pop off with the amount that you're grinding. Maybe we get to a point where we can find out in the future that this profile, it sends an alert that create a scale of they're a medium risk or higher risk for if they get full mouth veneers popping off, because they're doing, you know, this motion for this long, and you know what I mean. That's a good information, because then the patient, if something happens, won't be so upset. Or right, manage
sense, yeah.
expectations. Because remember, just like you had no idea when it happened to you. It's good to get a heads up and knowingly take that, pay for it, take it, and know that there's a slightly increased risk.
Exactly, yeah.
The other thing that comes to my mind, the interesting, cool kind of thing that came to my mind, is you can, as a dentist, you may now be able to insure a case. Okay? So you can say, you know what? This person is not a grinder. I checked, I tested, and look the patient in the eye and be like, okay, I feel comfortable. Like when you leave my office, I don't have control over what you do, what you eat, but I know that you're not doing these excessive crazy forces at night. And this 1 month, I looked at your data and it was very good. Like you're, you know, pretty good now, maybe 2-3 months, the longer the better. But so you can tell the person, you know what, I can guarantee your veneers for X amount of years. If anything happens in this, you know, I'll replace it. You'll get more patients if you're going to be able to have that control and that assurance, right? Even if you could tell a patient, I can guarantee you for, you know, 2 years, 3 years, 4, you know, that's a bunch of years that other dentists aren't guaranteeing. So as a tool for, you know, word of mouth, spreading the word, promoting your office, I think that's amazing. Have you thought about that? The things
I thought about it, and the increase in touch points, the increase in trust between the patient-doctor relationship. Dr. Divian actually made a really good point about that. You know, that even though you're gonna lose a little bit on the bottom line, that the increase in trust is going to pay dividends for the dental office as well.
What does that mean? Explain to me what do you mean by increase in trust?
Yeah, so, you know, patients, according to Dr. Divian's, you know, explanation of this, was his patients would be more inclined to believe that they're actually grinding their teeth and would get a night guard because of this ability to detect bruxism and actually see the empirical data.
Amazing. So lots of fun things coming up in the pipeline. Anything else that you want to add to your you know, your road on this journey? You know, anything else that you want to tell the viewers and the listeners?
I'm just extremely optimistic right now about the future. Right, I want to look back at this one day and go, wow, that was before we did XYZ, right? So the story's still being written. I'm very grateful to be in this position. And yeah, I'm just excited to take this world by storm, make this happen.
Amazing. I love your story. You know, personally, you know, will help you, support you, and excited to see you and what you know, bring to this industry, and how it really, the data that we talked about, how it's going to affect really humanity. You should be proud of yourself. Don't give up. Keep going. It's not going to be an easy road, but you're doing great. And anything that you need on you know, from the innovation lab side, from the Mouth Body Institute side, we're here for you.
Very excited.
Yeah.
Let's make this happen.
All right. Well,
thanks, Dr. Shervin.
Thank you for coming and flying all the way from Austin, and hopefully we'll have you again. Maybe once you get things rolling and you launch in the market and we get some of that data, we could have you come back here, maybe even Zoom you, and we can go over that together. I would love to get into the science of that.
Let's do it.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this episode of the Dental Innovation Lab. It was a really nice conversation we had with John Gabriel from ByteSense. We learned a lot about smart night guards and sensors, and we're rooting for him in this journey. Until next time.